All right, so this is going to be all about getting out of your own way. So, when you're going out, especially in the beginning, but actually even now when you're advanced, the only difference between a beginner and someone who's, let's just even say intermediate, is the beginner doesn't take his thoughts seriously. And I'm going to say this again. I'm actually going to record it for my Telegram channel. If you're watching this, you're already in it. But I want everyone to really internalize this. I want to talk about what's the difference between a beginner, an intermediate, and an advanced person, and how you can become intermediate or advanced very quickly. So, the beginner has a lot of negative thoughts. The intermediate person has a lot of negative thoughts, but continues anyways. The advanced person has a relatively high level of state control and might get into a negative mood from time to time, but for the most part, he stays in a good mood and he actually stays in a pretty good flow state and he stays out of his head. That is what the advanced person does. Now, my Wi-Fi isn't working, so I'm having a hard time connecting to my Telegram chat, which is actually kind of annoying. Maybe there's a voice memo app I can use. Yes, there is. All right, so we're going to go ahead and dive into this. I'm going to repeat what I just said, but it's good for you to hear it twice. This is an important lesson. So really quick, I'm ranting a bit, and I want to talk about what separates a beginner, an advanced person, and even an intermediate person. So beginner, advanced, intermediate. And this is kind of like the main thing I think personally that separates them. Now, you might think I'm going to be talking about results, which I do think results have a part to play. But what I would say is a beginner has a lot of negative self-talk and takes rejections personally and a lot of negativity. And for the most part, he doesn't have much control over his mind. And the way he feels is highly dictated by the environment around him. And if he's feeling good, he can have a decent night. But for the most part, if he's feeling bad, he doesn't break through. That's a beginner. An intermediate person has the same negative thoughts and has the same negative self-talk, but doesn't allow it to dictate his actions. He takes action anyways. He pushes through, and he kind of treats it more like a professional where no matter how he feels, he pushes through. And because of that alone, he gets more consistent results. So now he's an intermediate. An advanced person has very little negative thoughts. He's actually internalized so much positive references and positive thoughts, and he has so much skill in the game or skin in the game or so much momentum building or so much ability to just build momentum in any given night that the little negative thoughts that he has doesn't last very long, and he's very easily able to get himself out of a negative headspace and into a social mood. That guy's advanced, and because of that, obviously he's going to be getting the most results out of the bunch consistently. Now, anyone, beginner, intermediate, advanced, can pull on a good day. Like he's going out, he got a new haircut. Let's say a girl approached him and made him feel really confident that day. He's in a good mood. He's not stressed from work. He doesn't have anything to do that day. He goes out to the beach. He's having a good time, and then he's in a good mood and approaches and pulls. But what I think is very impressive is having a shit day or having a stressful day or being in a bad mood or being negative or thinking about all the problems you're solving in life and being able to snap yourself out of that and pull anyways. I think that's what really separates a beginner and advanced person. So in the game, what it will teach you, and by the way, for this voice note, I'm going to go ahead and pause it. I'm shooting a course right now, but I just wanted to share this. In the game, what it will teach you is how to control your negative thoughts. And I think that's the first thing you need to start to focus on is if you're beginning, you got to get control of your negative thoughts. Now, I just had a boot camp recently with my buddy, Akil, and I want to hopefully say I got him from beginner to intermediate. Now, he still has all the negative thoughts. He still struggles a lot, but he takes action anyways. He was just out for like 12 hours the other day, going on dates, instant dates, talking to girls. And you're just like, God damn, this day was fucking hard. It was a bad day. It was shit. I'm like, bro, at least you pushed through. A year ago, you wouldn't have got past hour one. So the intermediate guy, someone who's got a little bit of skin in the game, at least a little bit of self-belief that this could work out in the end, is going to push through the negative time. So just realize that you have to get out of your own way. if you are having negative thoughts and self-talk, you have to actively try to fix it through watch the Testosterone Maxing Guide. I talk all about health. But you have to actively reframe things in your mind to be positive, and you have to actively attack your negative thoughts like it's a virus. But you have to always push through anyways. And just realize that in this game, you're going to have so many negative thoughts going on, and you just can't take it seriously. And that's what marks a true guy who's actually intermediate and getting better at the game. The enemy is in your head. The real enemy is in your head. I see so many guys who have so much potential. They're better looking than me, bro. Who can't get good because they let their negative thoughts dictate how they feel. That coffee is fucking disgusting. I'm throwing that away. That's disgusting. Ugh. Wow. Sorry. Random. Another thing you can do as an exercise, and I actually need to put this into one of the course material. I'm going to write it down, is you can start journaling. Journaling is one of the best ways to really reframe things in your mind. And it's a very, like, anything inner game wise will probably help you with your game in the long run. And journaling is one of them. But another thing would be to, like, when you're in the field approaching, to congratulate yourself whenever you approach. And then if you're ever hanging around somebody, then you should probably only hang around positive people who are going to help you reframe that as well and reframe your approaches as all hyper positive. So there's a lot of things you can do. But just realize that your number one priority is to control the negative thoughts in your brain. Now, I just had a night recently. I would consider myself to be advanced. About 3-4 months ago, I probably was like more on the edge of intermediate. But man, I've been going out like crazy, bro. And I've just proven to myself that, hey, you are consistently showing up. There's very few nights where I don't break through out of my head. Very few nights. But I remember the last one where I was struggling a little bit. It was a Saturday night. I was out with all my friends and a boot camp student. And for the first 2 hours, by the way, bros, it was really because I was burnt out and exhausted. Like, that's actually what it was. I was genuinely burnt the fuck out. I barely slept that week, and we were out all night, every night. So I'm exhausted, and I'm going out, and my interactions on the surface level, most people would say that it's better than 99% of guys. I don't say that lightly. Like, even at my worst, I'm still better than most. And I know it sounds like I'm fucking just hyping myself up or flexing or bragging. This is what I put my life into for the last year. So I'm allowed to say that. And there's something I can be proud of. And it's something that will happen to you too, which is your worst day will be better than your best day a year from now if you keep going. So nevertheless, it took me an entire two hours. And I remember I had this guy who I approached this group, and I already made out with girls, having some success, but I wasn't fully out of my head. And I approached this group. It's 2 blonde girls and an Asian guy, and we're in Sweden. I was like, bro, you look like a Korean pop star, and this probably was his girlfriend. Who gives a fuck? I didn't give a fuck. You have the curliest blonde hair I've seen. And there was this awkward silence because I think they were actually dating, and there was this other girl there too. And this guy gets fucking furious, bro. Triggered as fuck. He starts talking shit about me and all these things. He's like, you're cringe as fuck. Why did you say that shit? Blah, blah, blah. He has a little bit of trauma about his identity because I called him a Korean pop star, and he's just this like an Asian Swedish guy who grew up in Sweden. That's a whole nother story. It's kind of funny, but here's the point. I was like, all right, bro, have a good day. I walked off, and I remember feeling like complete shit, feeling so shitty. And I turned to my boot camp student, and I look at him, and I'm like, emotional regulation. You ready? So I find my friends, and I say that in my mind 10 times. Emotional regulation, emotional regulation, emotional regulation, emotional regulation, emotional regulation. I said it 5 more times after that. And then I literally pull a stunner. Like, I almost pull her, actually. I got her back to the subway, and we were making out, but she had to go home. But anyways, the point is, I literally just said, control your thoughts, don't let it get to you, and then pull. That is basically the game. Is you're going to have these downward turn of emotions. You might think, oh, I'm ugly. I'm fucking ugly. I'm so short. I just can't get girls. And you have to literally nip that shit in the bud. Your negative thoughts are like that toxic guy who, I mean, yes, I approached them. And yes, I maybe said something a little uncalibrated. But your negative thoughts are like that toxic guy who comes up, who's just talking shit. And you're cringe. You're this. You're that. And your job is to be like, okay, not listening. Emotional regulation. I'm the shit. 1,000 out of 10. I'm positive. That's your job. Your own enemy is in your head. You have to fight it. So, I hope that helps, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.